Applications for your overall health, for cancer prevention, for dampening and improving autoimmune conditions. It is something that is incredibly powerful, and I want to share some information with you guys on its benefits and also on how to do it the correct way. And then some people give you some idea of people and conditions and situations where you might not want to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. And guys, do me a favor, if you enjoy these videos, please share them with other people, share them with your family, share them with your friends, because we need to get this information out to people so that they can be better equipped and better understand how to help themselves. Because it's my mission to help one person at a time, and if I can help you improve your quality of life, that's going to improve your family's quality of life, that's going to help your community, and ultimately that's going to help the world. And I really want you guys to be better educated so you can be your own advocates. You got to be your own advocate. You got to learn about your health and be your own best doctor so that you can be better partners with your healthcare providers. Okay, so do me a favor, share the video, because we're going to be talking about some really powerful and important information here. Okay, it's going to be contradictory probably to some of the things that you guys have been exposed to. So what I really want to talk about is this concept of fasting, which is going without eating for a period of time. And there's a lot of different types of fasting out there. There are intermittent fasts that can last for hours, for 12 or 16 hours. There are daily fasts that can be 22, 24. There are rotating types of fasting where you can go every other day and maybe not eat for 24 hours. Then there are longer fasts, block fasts, where you might go 4 or 7 days without eating. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and there are a lot of misconceptions about it. But let me give you some information about some of the positive benefits that we know here. So there was some research done that showed that extended fasting so you fast, let's say you go from 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. Okay, that's how long? 12 hours, right? The study showed that fasting 13 or more hours may decrease your risk of breast cancer or breast cancer recurrence. And so that would mean you go from like 7 p to what? Like 8 a.m. That's not hard to do. A lot of people can do that. And what they found was that it may lower the risk of breast cancer, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. And guys, I've been immersed in understanding and researching fasting, and I can tell you that absolutely this research is very consistent and congruent with a lot of the stuff I've been exposed to. I don't have time to give you guys like a master's class on this thing, but what we are going to do is I'm going to give you some really important and relevant information. I'm going to answer some of the questions that I know you have where you're not sure about the safety of it, or you think it suppresses your metabolism, or you think that it'll cause you to lose your muscle mass and strength, or some of the things that are commonly brought up with fasting. You'll lose blood sugar dysregulation. Let's talk about all those things, okay? But anyway, this one study, I don't want to get off. I want to finish my thought here. Researchers, what they did was they looked at 11 years of data from non-diabetic breast cancer patients. Okay, with their research, the data, they found that women that fasted less than 13 hours, okay, so they would go, let's say they would just go from, 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. until 5 or 6 or something, right? So it was less than a 13-hour break in eating. So they had less than that. What they found was that they had a 36% increase in breast cancer recurrence. 36 over the group of women that went 13 hours or more without eating, that fasted longer, or that had a longer break between meals. They found that there was a 36% increase, which is amazing. So basically, going at least 13 hours between meals, dinner and breakfast, basically, right? So the last meal and the first meal of the day is associated with lower risk of cancer. Unbelievable. And when you start looking at this, there's a great landmark textbook. It's not really a book for the layperson, but it's Cancer as a Metabolic Disease, written by Dr. Seyfried. And it is a fantastic book. In 2012, it was published, and it looked at cancer as a metabolic disease, meaning it's driven by our chemistry, it's driven by sugar in a lot of ways. And basically, some of the really important findings from his book, from his text, was that the cancer cells they prefer sugar for energy, right? So they burn sugar for energy. So when you put your body, you fast and you deplete your body of a lot of the sugar stores, you force your body into a state called ketosis, okay, into a type of fat burning that is, or let me say this, energy production state that is burning fat for energy rather than burning sugar for energy. And that starves a lot of the cancer cells so that they don't have sugar to grow and thrive off of. So they found that with some types of cancers, it would help to actually shrink the cancer cell itself. So some really powerful and super important information here. So they also looked at daily sleep habits, right? They looked at daily sleep habits, dietary habits. They looked at the blood sugar. So they checked the blood and looked at serum blood sugar. They also looked at inflammatory markers. Now, the two inflammatory markers that I really liked that they checked, one was hemoglobin A1C, which looks at blood sugar fluctuations over 3 months, and then they also looked at the C-reactive protein, which, guys, whenever I work with someone one-on-one, the first thing that I do, so we get expanded, really extensive blood work. We get a lot of advanced tests to help us look at the other factors that could be driving your particular problems. But one of the first things I do is I look at that blood work and I open it up to the inflammatory markers, step 1. And we look at the C-reactive protein to see if it's high or not. Now, I won't get into all the details of what I consider high, but anyway, they found that when they looked at all these baseline markers, basically, right? They looked at all these different habits. They looked at the inflammatory markers and then the recurrence of cancer. Okay, that's one of the things that they were really focused on. And they basically found that a lot of things helped to improve this, and they found with the people that had less of a rate of recurrence, that when they went longer, like for every additional 2 hours that they fasted, so let's say they extended their 13-hour fast to a 15-hour fast, right? And where they might have eaten at like 10 or 11, that those people tended to have better and more soundful sleep, suggesting that the increase in the fast improved their circadian or their daily rhythm of cortisol production, which is produced by your adrenal glands that sit on top of the kidneys, and improved their soundfulness of their sleep, which is fantastic. We know that the adrenal glands are very important. They play a direct role in the improvement or failure to improve or repair of your gut lining, of your barrier systems. They're also directly connected to your hormones, to your sex hormones, like your testosterone, your estrogen, your progesterone. If your adrenal glands are stressed or very high or very low, it creates a lot of problems for other hormones, for neurotransmitters, your brain chemistry. So this was really profound. They found that really fasting tended to have a good improvement. Now, there are people that should not fast, guys. So it's really important that we discuss that too. They found that each 2-hour increase in fasting time also reduced blood sugar and the systemic inflammation, so the C-reactive protein came down. Tons of benefits here, guys. Tons and tons of benefits from this, but there are cases where we have to be very careful. See, I don't start people, even when I work with people one-on-one, it's very rare. It's rare that I start people off doing intermittent fasting or fasting to begin with. It's a powerful tool that we know we have and that we want to try to incorporate when the time is right. But there are a lot of people that have low blood sugar. They have hypoglycemic tendencies where their blood sugar crashes, and they also have adrenal fatigue, or the adrenal glands have been overworked for a prolonged period of time due to either stress or inflammation or physical pain, all that will stimulate the adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands can lose their capacity to produce cortisol adequately from an ideal perspective, not a pathological perspective. Usually, you're talking about something completely different when you're talking about pathology affecting the adrenal glands, like Addison's disease or Cushing's disease, something like that. That's a different story. We're talking about normal functioning physiology where there's not a pathology, a disease. They're just completely exhausted, and a lot of times you find there's multiple things that affect your adrenal glands' inability to produce cortisol normally and produce your energizing hormones like your epinephrine normally. So there's a lot of times you'll see depletions in nutrients. You'll see that there are chronic infections. there's a lot of times there's inflammation. I mean, it's almost always occurring that there's some type of immune inflammation that will affect the adrenals. And all of these things make it harder for you to keep your blood sugar normal and stable. So fasting could be a really bad thing for someone that has exhausted adrenal glands, or they already have problems stabilizing blood sugar. So a lot of times what I do is we gather information, and then we put together a plan, and we at least keep them on a diet that is anti-inflammatory, unique to them, for at least 4 weeks, and we have them eating regularly to stabilize blood sugar and try to get a lot of the things that we've identified through testing to get them normalized as much as possible. Then maybe at 4 weeks or 6 weeks, we can say, okay, if things are improving and you're stabilizing, then let's start experimenting with intermittent fasting, where we might go 13 or 16 hours or something, going from dinner to maybe lunchtime. That's a fantastic way to do it. Absolutely great way to do it. So I want you to know that it is a problem for certain people. And then, if you have things like type 1 diabetes, or you're on diabetic medications and other things, that completely is a different ballgame. Because when you start fasting and you start bringing down your blood sugar with your diet, a lot of the medications that you're using can have a much more significant and profound effect. And the dietary interventions that are natural, that are lowering your blood sugar, plus medications, when you put those together, it could really cause you to have some serious consequences of having your blood sugar too low. So if you're taking medications for something, like some type of blood sugar dysregulation or disease process, you need to tell your doctor, hey, I'm going to start. I want to start changing my diet and working on my blood sugar, utilizing some dietary strategies. And I want you to know that, because I want to lower my medication, if that's possible, while I'm doing this. And so that they know, so that they can help you and work with you. And that's really, really, really important, guys. Like, don't make any dietary changes or any of the things I'm talking about without talking to your physician first, and your primary healthcare doctor, your medical doctor, and making sure that it's okay for you to make any type of dietary or lifestyle changes. But this is really, really profound, amazing information. And, one of the things, if you're having problems with sleep, which we see a lot, if you're waking up at 3 or 4 at night, or you're waking up and you go to sleep and you wake up after a few hours, that's usually a sign of your blood sugar dropping too low during the night. And it's really kind of tricky, because sometimes you need to eat a little bit before bed to help stabilize blood sugar, but you got to eat the right foods. Sometimes you're eating too close to bedtime, and that's causing your blood sugar to crash. Sometimes your adrenal glands just can't produce enough cortisol, which is essential. You have to make cortisol throughout the night, because one of the effects of cortisol, when cortisol rises, it stimulates your body to release stored blood sugar from the muscle and the liver into the bloodstream, raising your blood sugar so your brain can continue to run everything normally. So if you are if you're waking up like that, then one of these mechanisms is likely at play. There's usually blood sugars crashing, or maybe you need to eat a little bit of food closer to bedtime. Maybe you're eating the wrong foods closer to bedtime. That's causing a spike in blood sugar, and then reactive hypoglycemia, where you crash at night. Maybe your adrenal glands are so fatigued and you've got so many other problems that they can't sustain and maintain the production of cortisol, that you need to keep your blood sugar up throughout the night. Lots of possibilities. They're all things that can be identified, though. So if you, this is really important. I think one of the take homes I want to share with you guys is that extended, blocks of fasting. So at least 13 hours. So maybe 7 p.m. you've eaten dinner, and then 7 p.m. to like 8 a.m. the next morning you go and you fast. That's been associated with, in this one study anyway, it was associated with a 36% decrease in breast cancer recurrence in women. Fantastic, guys. Amazing. So it's very likely helpful for cancer. Dr. Seyfried's work would suggest and imply that as well. It's important for adrenal gland health. It's important for detoxification. It's important for hormone sensitivity, insulin sensitivity. There's so many benefits here. And I could go on and on. I do want to just mention just a few things. Some people say, will say, well, if I fast and I don't eat, then I'm going to suppress my metabolism. Incorrect. You will suppress your metabolism if you restrict your calories. Like if you need to eat 2,000 calories per day, and you cut your calorie intake down to 1,500 calories because you're skipping breakfast, then you will suppress your metabolism. But if you eat that your breakfast calories, if you combine those and you eat all the calories, like let's say it's 2,000 calories, you got to eat all those within that 8-hour window. So you're not reducing the amount of food. You're just condensing it into a smaller time frame, and you're going longer without eating. Okay, that's a critically important point. Another thing is, if I fast and I don't eat, I'm going to lose my muscle because my body's going to catabolize. My body's going to use my muscle mass for energy. In the research that's been done, what they find is that your body increases growth hormone levels, the anti-aging hormone. It increases growth hormone levels and preserves muscle mass. That is fantastic. It's actually completely opposite of what you would think. It's actually, fasting is probably anti-aging, guys. We know that it's been in the literature for years now, people that eat less live longer. In animal studies where they restrict the calories of 25% or so of worms or mice, they live longer. And the theory is there's less oxidative stress there. So there's less chemical inflammation that is naturally associated with the breakdown of food and metabolism happening to those animals. And the same thing is likely occurring with us. Less food, our hormones are more sensitive. So utilizing these strategies is incredibly powerful. It's one of the things that we've started doing in our clinic that's really important. And guys, if you need help, if you're stuck, if you want faster results with what you're doing now, if if these tips, I hope they help you, but if you need help and you just want someone to help you figure out what to do, lay out all the pieces, get the testing you need, then give us a call or go to our office at Brad Shook, that's DRBRADSHOOK.com. You can click on the application for care tab and you can learn about working as a distance consulting client with me anywhere in the world. We work with people around the world. We communicate via phone, Skype, FaceTime. We can get advanced diagnostic testing and blood tests done almost anywhere. We can send you test kits. We can send you to a lab near you if you're anywhere in the U.S. If you're outside the U.S., we can send you test kits that you can complete and send into the lab. And we can work to investigate what's going on with you, put all these pieces of the puzzle together and try to come up with a plan that's very, very unique for you to help you try and get your health back. Okay, so appreciate you guys so much. If you need anything, if you have any questions, let us know. I hope this is informative and this has been interesting. This is one of my favorite topics right now. It's something I'm learning a ton about. I could talk days about this because there's so many powerful tools here that help you for so many other aspects of your health, from detoxification. Really, detoxification is one of the most powerful and even enhanced athletic performance in some people. When you combine a lot of these strategies, when you combine them with looking at genetics and epigenetics, the factors influencing your unique genetic blueprint, is where you can just take your health into to astronomical heights. So I appreciate you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. Please do share this information with other people. We've got to get the word out that things like this, these natural tools, these natural processes of our body are there. They are within our grasp. We can utilize them. Health is within us. Okay, we can tap into these natural healing powers of our body to be as healthy as possible. So, guys, thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Talk to you again really, really soon. And I hope this has helped you out. Thanks.